to my channel. So today we are going to talk about subqueries, and it's a very I would say simple but a very commonly used concept in day-to-day data engineering tasks. So let's start. So what a subquery is? So basically it's an inner query or a nested query within another SQL query. So let's say we have a select star from a table, and we want to find the value which is being fetched from another query. Okay, so that query which will be nested in the main query, that's a subquery. Okay, so basically a subdivision of the original query, and you can have multiple subqueries within a main query, and there's no as such limitation to it, but it makes the query more complex and increases runtime and increases complexity, but it's possible. So subqueries can be used in select, from, or where clauses, and they allow us to perform complex filtering, transformations, also comparisons within the SQL statement. So what are the type of subqueries we have? Well, there are four types. This is scalar subquery, which returns only one single value. Okay. Then there is a row subquery, which returns a single row. That means multiple columns will be there, but only a single row will be there, not multiple rows. Then we have column subquery. There can be multiple rows, but it will only return a single column. And then we have the table subquery. As we see by the name, it's returning a full result set, and it's usually used in the from clause. Okay, so these all topics are explained in details in the SQL series, and this is the Pyspark series. So I'll mainly focus on how to convert a SQL query into a Pyspark query, as in the other videos of this series. So let's quickly jump to that. So I have taken lead code very simple easy problem to explain this. So let's go through the problem first, and let's see what it wants us to do. So we have, this is our schema. This is the employee table, and we have the column name, ID, name, salary, and manager ID. ID is the primary key. Let's see the data. Okay, so we have ID as Joe, salary 70,000, manager ID 3, Henry manager ID 4, Sam doesn't have a manager ID, Max doesn't have a manager ID. So the problem statement over here is write a solution to find the employees who earn more than their managers. Okay, so what does it mean if we break it up? So let me just copy this in a notepad. Okay, so Joe's employee ID is 1 and Joe's manager ID is 3, which means Joe's manager is Sam. Okay, Henry's employee ID is 2, Henry's manager ID is 4, which means Henry's manager is Max. Okay, now our problem statement is that who are the employees who earn more than their managers, right? So Joe's manager is who? Joe's manager is Sam, right? And Joe's salary is 70,000. Sam's salary is 60,000. Henry's manager is Max. Henry's salary is 80,000, and Max's salary is 90,000. Okay, and from this data set, Sam doesn't have a manager ID, Max doesn't have a manager ID. So I mean, they did not report to anyone, right? They are the managers. So the question is, find the employee whose salary is greater than the manager's salary. So over in this case, Joe has 70,000 and Sam has 60,000. So we see it's greater, right? So definitely output should be Joe. Let's see if Henry passes this criteria. So Henry's salary is 80,000. Max's salary is 90,000. It's lesser. So Henry's salary is not greater than his manager. So from this data set, as per our problem statement, the output is Joe. Okay, clear? Now, so the query is very simple, which I have written. So what I've done, students, is there's only one table, right? So we just want to select the name of it, and we want to see that the name of the employee whose salary is greater than their manager's salary, right? So how did we find the manager over here? We saw that Joe's manager ID is 3, right? And in the same table we checked that whose employee ID is 3, and we found that Sam's employee ID is 3. That means we are joining based on the manager ID and the employee ID, right? The manager of ID of an employee and that employee ID of that manager ID, basically. Okay, so what are we doing? So this we have written in a subquery to find that the employee whose salary will be greater than, and we are selecting from the same table but aliasing is a different name, and we are seeing that where the manager ID is will be equal to the employee's manager ID. Okay, so basically this is the manager details, you can say. This is the employee details, you can say. So employee details is this. Now we are finding that employee salary is greater than the manager's salary, where the manager ID, the manager's, like, this is the manager details, right? So the manager's employee ID is equal to employee's manager ID, and that's exactly what we did. We first found that the manager ID for Joe is 3. Now this 3 is the employee ID of which person? Sam. So Sam is a manager. Okay, so this is the SQL statement. It's a very simple one, and this is how we can use subqueries. Okay, now let me run this. Yep, and we see the employee is returned as Joe. Now, if we have to convert this into a Pyspark code, let's break this down. So what are we doing? We are creating 2 data sets, if you see. One is the details of the employee. Okay. And then the manager details. So what are we doing? We are aliasing the same thing, the same table, but as manager. Okay. Now, basically, these are the 2 data sets that's being formed. Now from this we will check that the salary from the employee is greater than the salary of the manager data set, based on the fact that the manager's employee ID will be the manager ID of which employee. Simple as that. Okay, so let's go to our Pyspark. So in Pyspark we know how we do it. We first import a Spark session from Pyspark.sql module, then we import the call function from Pyspark.sql.functions module. So all of this is in the first video. If you want to understand this part, that how we are doing creating data frames, you can go to the first video of this series. It's explained in details. I'm not going to waste my time in this video. So we have created a data frame. Now what we have done, as I said, what are we going to do? We are going to create 2 data sets. Okay, so basically we have created only 1 data set because we are working on this only, the sample data. And then in the next step, the manager DF data set, we have aliased the same, like we have created 1 data frame but aliased the manager DF data set as manager and the employee DF data set as employee. Okay, now what did I say? That we have to join these 2 data sets based on the fact that the manager's employee ID is equal to the employee's manager ID. The manager's employee ID is equal to the employee's manager ID. Okay, now we we are saying we are joining the two data sets. Joins is also explained in another video. You can go through it. How do we join two data sets? So it's very simple. You take one data set, you do dot join, open bracket, then the second data set with which you want to join. It's a self join, and then comma, and then the column on which you want to join the data set. So employees manager ID, managers employee ID. Okay, and how is the join? It's an inner join. Very simple syntax. Okay, now once this data set is joined, what are we doing? We are seeing, so now once it is joined, what do we have to check? We have to check that employee DF's salary is greater than manager DF's salary, right? That's the requirement. So you see, we are creating a new data frame, result DF. What are we doing on this? The previous data frame where we joined both of these dot filter. So where condition is basically a filter, and we are saying that the employee salary, column of employee salary greater than column of manager salary. And the final step, what do we want to display? The employee name, right? And we are aliasing at the column name as employee. And finally, result df dot show, we have it as employee is Joe, because Joe is the only one who has fulfilled this criteria. So this is how you can convert subqueries into Pyspark code, and it's a very simple one. So if you have any doubts, please drop in the comments, and also please share this with your network who wants to learn Pyspark and in a very simple manner. Do like, do subscribe. Thank you for watching my video.